Hello Saturn fans! So the Olympic Games are going on, and over here at the Saturn Junkyard we are full of the Olympic spirit. Check out the latest Titancast episode with me, Simon, Cameron and Brian, and also our previous video comparing Sega's Olympic Games throughout the years, from the Saturn all the way to modern platforms. But that just wasn't enough for us, so here I am with a deep dive into Sega's first and foremost Olympic game, DecAthlete, also known in Europe as Athlete Kings. It wasn't the first of its kind back when it came out in 1996. There was already a legacy of games like Dale Thompson's Decathlon and Track and Field, and even the crown of the first 3D game in the genre was a disputed one, since it was released at practically the same time as Konami's International Track and Field. The way it set itself apart was to double down on Sega's arcade character, discarding any attempts at seriousness with colorful graphics and outrageous characters. The German guy wears a shirt straight out of a Pierre Mondrian painting, the French girl has an Italian surname for some reason, and the British guy looks quintessentially British. And by the way, he doesn't show up in the American version for some reason. He's not selectable in the character screen and has even been deleted from the background. Maybe the Yankees just can't handle this much manliness. Gameplay-wise, even to this day, multisport video games in this style can be summed up as a series of minigames where you either mash buttons, press a button at the right time, or hold it down for a certain duration. With those very simple controls, you'll run, jump and throw objects, improving your performance and trying to break records. Sounds basic, and it is, but it's the arcade nature of the genre. On our podcast, Brian rightly pointed out that if played solo, it can become old quickly. It's true, it's not the kind of game that you play every day for a week straight. It's meant for short bursts, especially for multiplayer. The long-term appeal of this game is trying to beat your friends' records, and if you make it a staple of your multiplayer routine, you can find yourself playing it for a very long time indeed. DecAthlete first came out in 1996 on the arcades, running on the Sega Titan video hardware, which was essentially a Saturn, so it's no wonder that it quickly saw home conversion for our favorite console. It runs in the Saturn's high-resolution mode, but the picture is interlaced. What it means is that, unlike with a progressive signal, where the whole screen is rendered at once, you actually have two different frames being rendered at the same time, one in the odd lines and another in the even lines. On a CRT, the analog nature of the screen basically meshes both frames together and it creates the illusion of a whole picture. But when played on a modern screen, it can look wrong in a variety of ways. Depending on your particular setup, like your TV, which cable you're using, and whether you have a scaler like the FrameMeister or OSSC, you can see each row of lines individually, which is an eyesore, or the picture constantly flickers up and down. The upside is that when played on a CRT or properly upscaled, it looks great, way clearer than most games of its generation. Along with the colorful graphics, the presentation as a whole still stands up to this day, and since the gameplay itself hasn't changed much, it's still a lot of fun. Look at our comparison video between this game, VIRTUA ATHLETE on the Dreamcast, and the recent official Tokyo 2020 game, and you see how the gameplay almost stays the same, minus the use of the analog stick in the newer game. DecAthlete saw a sequel on the Saturn, this time dedicated to winter games. It's appropriately called Winter Heat, and you can watch a great video on our channel featuring Brian and the Junkyard's founder Simon Early himself. The other sequel is VIRTUA ATHLETE 2K on the Dreamcast, a game that personally I'm very fond of, having played it religiously with my friends during our late teenage years. The graphics take a more realistic approach, making use of the Dreamcast's tremendous graphical power for the time, but it actually features fewer events, only 7 against DecAthlete's 10. All three of these games were later compiled in a collection as part of the Sega Ages 2500 line, a Japanese exclusive series of ports, remasters and remakes. The treatment varied from game to game. We got some of these in the West, in a compilation titled Sega Classics Collection, but not these ones. To this day, the only way to get a hold of them is through Sega Ages Volume 15, DecAthlete Collection. The graphical treatment varies from game to game, but DecAthlete in particular was majorly worked on, featuring much better graphics than the original. The resolution is higher and the textures are filtered, although the colors do seem a bit muted in comparison, so you might still prefer the original. All in all, it was a great way to acknowledge this series of games and give it a new lease on life. Too bad that there were no other releases. Now would be a great time to have a new DecAthlete collection for modern platform. Well, at least we'll always have the original. And if you need something more modern, by all means, try the new official game, also developed by Sega. It's available on all major platforms and features a ton of events, although I kind of miss more track and field ones, because it focuses a lot on sports instead. Still, you can wear a Sonic costume. If that's not enough reason to try it, I don't know what is. I wish a great Olympic Games to everyone, and may our athletes make all of us proud. I'm Nuno and this is the Saturn Junkyard. Until next time, play some Saturn.